paperwork in between, so record as needed. Need your information. If there's like any factory recalls or anything like that, and let you know to bring the bike in. And then on the bottom, you're just acknowledging that we've given you an owner's manual, which I'll give to today. All the traffic laws. We're riding out there in the streets of California, even though this is a mountain bike. So we finally got the bike in for you. Patience. Thank you very much. Be right back. Here's your brand new Santa Cruz Tallboy AL. This is a Tallboy, really exceptional trail bike. It has 130 millimeters of travel and 120 millimeters in the back. So it's a really nice bike that you can ride all day long without losing a whole lot of your energy. It's a very efficient bike, great for climbing. There's just enough travel in there to make it nice and comfortable on those rocky technical sections. 1x12 SRAM SX drivetrain in the rear. You have an SVG dropper post on there. We'll have to adjust the proper seat height for you, make sure it's a good seat height for you. SRAM level, hydraulic disc brake, RockShox Recon, suspension fork in the front, box float in the rear. Okay, so these are running tubeless setup. There are no inner tubes in there. If you do get a puncture, sealant that is in there. Flip any punctures, small punctures from thorn, glass, or whatever. And that's when we would recommend carrying a little tubeless repair kit that includes plugs to plug up really big holes or punctures on your tires. And that'll help you get off the trail. We'll carry spare inner tubes on their bike rides as well. So just in case they have a catastrophic puncture where the sealant isn't doing its job, they could just throw in a spare inner tube to get them off the trails. It's a little messy to do that, but at least you don't have to walk back to the car. Limited lifetime warranty on the frame. Now, that's in consideration that you're going to be using the bike what it's intended for. So it's just a really nice trail bike to get out there and have fun, but you're not doing like jumping off 10-foot drops or anything crazy like that, because there are definitely other bicycles that are intended for that style of aggressive riding. Santa Cruz will supply you with a new pivot bearing. Suspension is set up based on your rider weight. We have set up the PSI in your suspension fork and your rear shock. Should give you about 25 to 30%. It should be around maybe 13 or 14 millimeters of sag when you're hopping on there. We are using that as a starting, so based on what Santa Cruz and Fox and RockShox has provided us on their charts, you can see there's a little chart right here. Down here, if you're 175, it says 60 to 160 to 180 pounds. You should have anywhere between 85 and 100 psi on there. And Aaron actually adjusted the air pressure in here, and it's actually listed on your for future reference. We have an air valve underneath this cap, so that helps you increase or decrease air pressure in there. You have to use a shock specific pump. You can't use a regular pump. You normally would use tires on this shock specific pump that is intended for use on really low air volume or really high air pressure. Your compression setting right here, little clicks here. If you turn it clockwise all the way this way, it locks it out, makes it rigid for the climbs, and you can also unlock it up here. Turning the knob this way, slow down your rebound. Turning it counterclockwise will make it faster. And you want it to make it feel like you're not pogoing off of your suspension. If you jump, hit a hard rock or something like that, feel nice and smooth. Feels like you're pogoing off of this like a pogo stick, then you actually want to slow down your rebound. The Fox float in the rear. This is your air valve to increase or decrease air pressure in there. And then we have two adjustments up here. One, two, 3 position switch that controls how stiff your rear suspension is going to be. So if you have a nice long climb going up the mountains, up the switchback, position will stiffen it out, and then that's trail mode, and then this is all the way open for a nice and flush. And then the red dial is your rebound adjustment. It controls how fast your suspension is going to come back out from being compressed, just like how we had that little adjustment in here in the front. Another nice cool little feature of most Santa Cruz models is this little guy right here, low, it says high. That's a flip chip, so that's an asymmetrical washer that's put in there. Depending on the orientation of that little washer, you have a low and a high bottom bracket setting. So right now your bottom bracket isn't as high off the ground that it can be, but if you wanted more clearance, go over rocks and ruts and other stuff like that, a log higher bottom bracket will allow you to clear those obstacles on the trail by removing that little flip chip, flipping it 180 degrees, and that'll raise your bottom bracket off the ground a little bit. I highly recommend that you break in your disc brake for your first actual ride in your disc brake. So before you get the bike dirty, maybe right after this visit, take it home, ride the bike down your street about 7 or 8 house lengths, travel at a medium speed. At the end of the stretch, pull on both front and rear brakes, come to an abrupt stop. You don't have to skid on your rubber, just come to a nice quick stop and do that 10 times over at that medium, and then 10 times over again at a faster speed. And what you're basically doing is taking a really fine texture brake pads, setting it onto the disc brake rotors. And it's very important to do that right off the bat, so that way you can optimize your braking power and minimize the possibility of your brakes going squeaky on you in a couple of weeks. SRAM, this takes you to low gears. This will take you to your... You actually only want to shift while you're pedaling. Keep that in mind. Right here is for your dropper post. When you're seated on the saddle and all of your weight is on there, if you push on that lever, it'll actually drop down, let go. This is a really nice position for your descents going downhill. It'll allow you to have a lower center of gravity, shift all of your weight towards the back of the bike, so that'll help reduce the possibility of going over your handlebars. For your long climbs and just for trail riding, you want pedaling efficiency, then you actually want to bring this all the way up top. This should be set at your optimal seat height. Now we're actually going to have to make sure that's a good seat height for you. All the way up should leave you with a slight bend in your knee when the pedal's down at the 6 o'clock. So whenever you're ready, I would like to do that for you.